We're ready? Bravo.
On behalf of the Mayor, Bill Steele, and the esteemed elected Council of Port Colborne, I bid thee a most hearty welcome. We gather to celebrate an annual rite of spring, the reason for Port Colborne's inception and the people who have elevated the status from village to city. That is, all of us whose lives are touched by the canal. We have the sailors who risk their lives on the blue water, the legions of people who supply the food, support services, repair and modification to keep the fleets current and safe, the Coast Guard, Pocomar, and the staff of the St. Lawrence Seaway who maintain and manage the system of locks and bridges of the Welland Canal, the families and loved ones who keep vigil, a candle burning, loved ones away. Yes, we occasionally complain about a bridge being slow. It may be 10 minutes early or 10 minutes late, but everybody knows Port Colborners love the boats. The more of them there are, the stronger our economy, and all the better for all of us. We look forward to progress with cruise ships, ghost ships, grain elevators, runaway freight trains, and new housing along the Port Promenade, which is the best stroll in town. A place to put a smile on your face and rejoice at being the pearl of the Niagara South Coast. And by the powers invested in me as town crier, I declare today's top hat ceremony the opening of the shipping season. Long live Port Colborne and long live Canada. Huzzah! Huzzah! Huzzah!
We really thank the town crier, Tom Picard. Another big hand for Tom. Thank you. So welcome everyone. What a great day. Now, you've just got a picture behind me, a 300-foot long wooden sailing vessel under full sail. That's what's really behind us today. If we were in the movies, they could do that on a green screen. But anyways, on behalf of City Council, welcome to City of Port Colborne's 2023 Top Hat Ceremony. We acknowledge that our city and our region is steeped in the rich history of the First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people. We stand with all Indigenous people, past and present, in promoting wise stewardship of the lands on which we live. We appreciate your attendance here this morning, and we all got up early today to celebrate the Welland Canal and shipping and its impact on our city and our country. The thing with ships, they don't run like clockwork. There are countless external forces affecting their arrivals and departures. Well, we know it's not ice or fog today. The ship we expect today, McKeel Marine's Florence Spirit, will not arrive until 10-ish. But we're here to celebrate, so let's carry on as planned. Thank you to our Parks Department for arriving early to set up and get the fire going. And even though it's the second day of spring, it's not too bad today. It's a little chilly this time of the morning. Let's show our appreciation with a round of applause for the hard-working individuals from our city's Fair Trade Committee, prepared the pancakes, hot chocolate, coffee for us. Thank you! And kudos to our team from Port Colborne Public Library who made our souvenir buttons. Make sure they're out hanging. I see them on a lot of jackets. Make sure you get one before you leave. These are here for today's event. And the buttons come on a card outlining the history of Port Colborne's Top Hat Ceremony and some titles of books you can check out from our library to learn more about the Welland Canal. At this time, I'm going to call Genevieve Renee Bisson of the Royal Canadian Naval Association to come forward and lead us in the singing of O Canada.
Please join me. O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us commands. Car ton bras s'est porté l'épée, il s'est porté la croix. Ton histoire est une épopée des plus brillants exploits. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Thank you, Renee. I will now call upon the Reverend Jody Ballant of St. James and St. Brendan's Anglican Church to offer the Mariner's Blessing for the 2023 shipping season. And Jody, it was a real pleasure to be your guest at the Mariners service Sunday night, and congratulations to you and your congregation for putting on such a great event. For those that weren't there, I go to or went to, however you say it, is to St. James. It was my church growing up. And the choir they had Sunday night filled the choir pews, and that's the first time I've seen that since as a little kid, when the church was always full on Sundays and there was a huge choir. But choirs from across Port Colborne, different congregations, and Port Colborne Choral were there, and they were fabulous. So thank you again, Jody.
Good morning, everyone. Let us pray. Water is the source of all life. At the beginning of creation, the Creator Spirit hovered over the waters, giving life to all the earth. We give thanks for all the water of all the waters of the world, for quenching our thirst and providing us strength. We give thanks to all her journey on the waters, for their courage, their strength, their understanding, and their respect for the waters deep. We bless all who travel, work, and journey on this amazing gift of life. May the divine waters of the lakes, oceans, seas, and canals continue to give prosperity and courage to all. And may you, Holy Creator, bless our canal and allow it to always be a continuous, safe passage and journey for all. Amen.
Thank you. So at this time, we'll introduce our dignitaries to come up and say some words. On behalf of Vance Badaway, our member of Federal Parliament, we have Corey Dutcher, Constituency Assistant. Corey, come on up.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me. My name is Corey, and I am here on behalf of the federal government and Niagara Senate Member of Parliament, Vance Badaway. We're here to welcome our ship, which is the Florence Spirit McNeil Marine of Hamilton. It will be our first downbound vessel of the 2023 shipping season. As a former owner of a ship chandler business in Port Colborne, Mr. Badaway is well aware of the importance of our shipping industry. He continues to work to develop economic benefits of having the Welland Canal here in Niagara, as well as protecting our Great Lakes for future generations. Starting today, however, for the rest of us, it's wait for the bridge season. I wish you fair winds and following seas. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Corey. At this time, on behalf of Jeff Birch, our MPP of Provincial Parliament, I'll call Constituency Assistant Mike Haynes. Mike.
Thanks, Bill.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's a beautiful day out, sun coming out for us. So I'm pleased to be here on behalf of Jeff Birch, the MPP for Niagara Centre. I want to thank the city's Fair Trade Committee and its members for the hard work in hosting once again a lovely pancake breakfast to mark this historic event, which means so much to the many communities that stretch along the canal from Port Colborne to Port Weller. This tradition traces its roots to the first ship entering the Welland Canal on November 27, 1829. The top hat ceremony gives us an opportunity to recognize the importance of the Welland Canal and just how much it means to us and the many employed locally in different marine-related businesses in Niagara. So when we see those bridges up, as we're pointing out, it's important to keep in mind that it may be a slight inconvenience, but like getting from point A to D, but those ships are carrying cargo, and that means business, investment, income, and most importantly, employment. This will be the 65th navigation season at the St. Lawrence Seaway. I also want to give a thumbs up to another anniversary that connects our marine history, safety on the waters, and that is the Port Colborne Marine Rescue, or POCAMAR, which is celebrating its 35th anniversary this year, and Jeff offers its 28 members under Commander Norm Dashwood his sincere congratulations, and keep up the incredible search and rescue job that's done each and every season. So congratulations to the downward vessel that will be making its way down the canal, the Florence Spirit of the McNeil Marine based in Hamilton, and all the best for a safe shipping season, and thanks for having me.
Thank you, Mike. This time, we can call our regional councillor, Fred Davies, representing the region of Niagara.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Growing up in this town, I remember fondly, with some level of frustration, sitting at the Florence Spirit Bridge before this bridge was installed. And I remember the campaign to have the third bridge brought in. If you grew up in the 60s and 70s, you will recall being stuck at both bridges at the same time, missing birthday parties and anniversaries or getting late to work. But in hindsight, as we may have been frustrated back then about the delays, it really is a recognition of our economy here in Port Colborne and the reason we are here today. This canal built Port Colborne. In fact, it built most of the Niagara region. When people come into Niagara and they naturally gravitate toward the falls, a lot of people are surprised at the history and the significance and the sights of the Welland Canal. Back in the early days, we had the distinction of having the longest lock in the world, and I think we're still up in the top 4 or 5. But people wouldn't believe that was actually true in this small little community. So we have a lot to be proud of in our marine heritage, the businesses that continue to thrive in Port Colborne, the jobs that are created, and the reason why people are moving here today. Our town has got an enormous history that we need to protect, enhance, and promote for people to come here and enjoy what we have in this community. So thank you, Mr. Mayor, and the City of Port Colborne for the annual top hat ceremony. And where's the top hat?
Oh, it's hidden. Oh, it's hidden.
It is a sacred top hat, and I look forward to seeing it placed on whenever the captain arrives. But thank you all for being here today, and we'll see you again next year.
Thanks, Fred.
Thank you. And our next speaker is our good friend, the Mayor of Wainfleet, Brian Grant. Now, one thing about Wainfleet, their claim to fame is they actually have a canal older than our canal, the feeder canal. We know it's blocked up in a lot of spots, but if you look back in history, it went right through Wainfleet into Dunnville and out through the river into Lake Erie. So if I could call Brian up for a few words. Welcome, Brian.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very pleased to be in Port Colborne today at the 2023 Top Hat Ceremony. Events like this are certainly special, and this one in particular, really speaks to our appreciation for the huge benefits we receive from the Welland Canal and all those workers, ship crews, captains, pilots, and who make their living on these waterways and our Great Lakes. These important industries are not only a part of our economic lifeblood, but the Golden Horseshoe and the Niagara region, but the province and the nation as well. On behalf of the Township Council and all the residents of Wainfleet, I would like to wish each and every person who makes a living on our lakes a very safe and prosperous shipping season for 2023. Thank you.
And our next speaker, representing the St. Lawrence Seaway Management Corporation, Jeff Boland, Supervisor, Canal Operations.
Hi, good morning, everybody. My name is Jeff Boland. As the mayor indicated, I am a Canal Services Supervisor of Operations, which is basically a fancy way of saying that I supervise the team in our traffic center that operates those bridges we're all referring to, and the locks and the weirs, and communicates with the vessels when they're out on Lake Erie or in Lake Ontario. And first of all, I'd just like to assure you that we do take every effort to get those bridges up and down as quickly as possible. We understand what it's like to be stopped by a bridge when you're on your way to work or to see family or on your way to school. So I'm very excited to be here for what is actually the 65th anniversary of the opening of the Seaway system as a whole. And as a Port Colborne resident, I kind of want to point out a couple of the impacts that the canal system has in our local community, as a few others have alluded to. There's quite a few businesses here in Port Colborne that get their livelihood and their income from the canal. Algoma Central across the street, we can see it from right here. If you look down the canal a little bit, just on the other side of the Bridge 21 there, Clarence, you'll see a vessel docked at what we call the Snyder Dock, or Wharf 16. You'll see a lot of vessels going in there for anything as simple as getting groceries for the long trip up to Thunder Bay, or offloading bulk cargo with the self-unloaders there. It's a very busy dock. Just down the way this way, if you all take a look, you can see the old Robin Hood Mill, which we call Wharf 13. That's currently run and organized by the London Agricultural Commodity Group. They're doing a fantastic job down there, and last year was a banner year for them. They saw more vessels going in there than ever before, and we're expecting more of that same thing this year. So it's going to be a busy canal, which busy canals mean that the bridge is going to be up, unfortunately, but it's just part of life here in Port Colborne. I also want to thank some of the city. They're such a great partner for us. The City Works team works with us very well, whether it's maintaining land or helping us identify issues along the canal system. But also the NRP and the local emergency responders. We work with the NRP quite a lot in the local area for quite a number of issues, and they're always quick to help us when we need help. And a special thank you to the Port Colborne Fire Department. As many of you know that live here in Port Colborne, we had quite a few winter events this year, where the city was pretty much shut down over Christmas holidays. And the Port Colborne Fire Department came out and helped us at one point de-ice the lock walls, if you believe it or not, with the hoses. Without that, we would have had vessels stuck in the canal system, and we wouldn't be able to get those canals shipped through prior to the closing of the season. So a big thank you to those teams. As you all know, the Transport Minister was in Port Colborne back in January and made a big announcement. There's going to be a big investment in what we call Wharf 18.1, 18.2, and 18.3. For those of you that know the area, that's down at the very end of West Street, down by where the old water tower used to be. There's a lot of vacant land from there down to the other mill and towards the opening of the piers there. That investment is going to be fantastic for this community, because it's going to be a lot of opportunities for business leaders, community groups, tradespeople, workers for jobs in the future. It'll take a little while to get there, but it should mean good things for this community. Of course, there's also the other good news here is there's lots more cruise ships coming. You saw them all last year. We're expecting even more this year. There's a lot of smart people involved that are trying really hard to figure out ways that we can encourage those tourists, those cruise ships, when they come down, to spend their money and stay in Port Colborne a little bit and help our local community out. In closing, I'd just like to add one last thing. That's, as you all know, the Green Marine Corridor is what we call ourselves, but seaway traffic and laker traffic is the most environmentally friendly way to transport goods around the world. We're much more environmentally friendly than our partners are in transport trucks or in rail. So thank you very much. I'm working right now with the traffic center to see if I can get a revised ETA for the Florence Spirit behind us here. And once I know more, I'll let the mayor know. So thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. And thank you all for your thoughtful words about this important day. Our Top Hat ceremony is about our community coming together to welcome the first downbound vessel through the Welland Canal. Our event kicks off the 2023 shipping season and marks our commitment to the marine industry and its contribution to our local, provincial, and national economies. When William Hamilton Merritt envisioned his famous ditch, he built a waterway to direct water to power his mill. 190 years and 4 versions later, the canal is a catalyst for growth in business, development, tourism, recreation, and quality of life right here in the city of Port Colborne. Port Colborne was founded as an important sailing port known as the gateway to navigation when the Welland Canal was built through the heart of our city. The canal, its bridges, and our position on Lake Erie are our defining physical feature. Our vision is to continue our strong partnerships with those in the marine industry and to continue to create opportunities for development at every level of business. We've been diligent in setting an Ontario marine strategy with the provincial government, and a week into the new year, it was a lot colder back in January when Federal Minister Omar Alagabra was at Wharf 18 to announce a $23 million investment to restore and rebuild the southernmost mooring site in Port Colborne. That investment kicks off other investments, public and private, which is what we have our sights set upon in the coming years, building on the increased demand of commercial shipping and cruise ship visits. There were 56 cruise ships through Port Colborne last season. This season there will be 72 ships that will dock right here in downtown Port Colborne. That will increase every year for the foreseeable future. We reap the tourism and business benefits not only from passengers on the ships, but also from the crew who work on those ships and from hundreds of people who arrive on the promenade daily. People from across the region and beyond come to see the ships, and while they're here, they shop in local stores and eat and drink in local restaurants and our cafes. Our biggest event of the year is Canal Days, a festival celebrating our marine heritage event every civic holiday weekend in August. In Port Colborne, we love the canal, and we are all about the canal. So let's now hear from Tammy Nail, who is celebrating her first anniversary as Assistant Curator of the Port Colborne Historical and Marine Museum for a history of our Top Hat. Tammy?
So the Port Colborne's Top Hat ceremony started in the early 1970s under Mayor Vesperino. It is tradition that a felted beaver top hat is presented to the captain of the first downbound vessel on the Welland Canal. This ceremonial top hat has been presented. Oh, thank you. The ceremonial top hat presented to the captain is just one of over 22,000 artifacts from the collection of the Port Colborne Historical and Marine Museum. We keep it stored in an acid-free box in the Captain John W. Sharp Heritage Resource Center, which is a climate-controlled storage facility purpose-built in 1995. The beaver felt hat was donated to the museum by an anonymous donor and has been the official ceremonial top hat given at the top hat ceremony since. It is a turn-of-the-century Chess & Co. hat from London, England. The company was established in 1846 and active in England for over 100 years before being sold to Christie's in 1953. The top hat ceremony recognizes the importance of the canal system for Port Colborne and the Niagara region, as well as the St. Lawrence Seaway's 65th navigation season on the canal. On behalf of the Port Colborne Historical and Marine Museum and the Board of Management, I will be honored to present the top hat to the captain of the Florence Spirit One for the Rise.
I'm just gonna get one, Jimmy. It's fluffy.
Good, thanks, good. What are you gonna do? Things are well? Not bad. Just as you're standing here, you got up and I was thinking of your friend Anna.
Good.
She's been gone a while. The old days of Peter's Farm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, thanks again for your help with that birthday last year. Oh, yeah, no problem. Thank you. Grateful for it. Kickstart real early, just to put her in that frame of mind sort of thing, because not many people see that, and I know she'll be honored to see what happens, you know, she's got a stand, I'll tell you that.
Okay. Thank you, Tammy. And at this time, we can call up Jane Nye from the Port Colborne Fair Trade for a few words with regards to our Fair Trade Committee here in Port Colborne. Jane?
What was it, 11 now? Yeah.
Good morning. My name is Jane Nye, and this is Nancy Salvage, and we are part of the Fair Trade Town Committee for Port Colborne. I hope you have enjoyed your breakfast. So the pancake mix was donated by ABM Milling. Kevin at the Smoke and Buddha made our wonderful pancakes, and the coffee, tea, and sugar are from Level Ground Trading, and the syrup comes from Agape Valley Farm. It was 14 years ago that Port Colborne was recognized as a fair trade city in Canada. It was a proud moment. We were the first in Ontario and the second in Canada. Fair trade, not to be confused with free trade, is a vision of business and trade that puts people and the planet first, before profit. It's a global movement to verify and certify that what farmers and workers are being paid is adequate for a decent life. They have enough money for the everyday essentials like food, shelter, clothing, and a hopeful future, which we assume is a right for people in society, but which we may take for granted. We often forget that not everyone is privileged to live as we do. Perhaps today, this can be a reminder that we are a fair trade city, we do care, and we remain attentive to the needs of those who stitch our garments, pluck our tea, grow our coffee. Each year, we have to show that we are still committed to this movement in order to maintain our fair trade town status. I encourage you to think about purchasing a fair trade product, whether it's bananas at Sobeys, chocolate at Villages, or health products at the Healthy Cupboard, to name a few. Together, we can make our world and our planet a better place.
Thanks, Jane, and thank you, Nancy. So let me tell you a little bit about the captain who will wear our top hat a little later today. So please come back and join us, as I said, around 10-ish, probably closer to 11. Captain Michael Rodaway, he's been with McKeel Marine since 2016, and for close to a year has found himself regularly at the helm of the Florence Spirit. Vivek Sachdev is the vessel's chief. Vivek has been a valued McKeel crew member since 2020. The Florence Spirit was built in 2004 and acquired by McKeel in 2016. The vessel is named in honor of Florence McKeel, wife of company founder Evans, and late mother of Blair McKeel, vice chairman of the board. The vessel is a regular visitor through the Welland Canal, and on this occasion, it will be loaded with 8,200 metric tons of metallurgical coke for a steelmaker in Hamilton. When we meet Captain Rodaway, back here in a few hours, I'll present him with this top hat with a seal inside that reads, presented to the captain of the first downbound vessel through the Welland Canal from the city of Port Colborne 2023. And this will be a hat that Captain Rodaway gets to keep. We purchase these every year for our captains. And these are absolutely gorgeous. So on behalf of City Council and the citizens of our community, we'll wish him and his crew, all the ships and crew of McKeel Marine, a safe and prosperous season. So this concludes our ceremony, and we thank you, the residents and visitors, for joining us here this morning. We thank you to the representatives from all levels of government, and thank you to all staff crews for coming together for our annual celebration, and again to our Fair Trade Committee here in the city of Port Colborne. Please enjoy the day. We know it's raining everywhere but Port Colborne because it's always sunny here, no matter what the weather. Again, thank you very much.